Final pick of the first round is Peyton Watson out of UCLA, the freshman, 6'8", 200 pounds, as the final pick in the first round. You said, wow, your reaction there says it all.
I did not see that one coming. He was someone that came out, again, out of the pandemic with a big reputation. He had a highlight video that kind of went viral when no one could see him play, and all of a sudden he was perceived as this kind of jumbo playmaking wing, but didn't live up to those expectations at UCLA. He's certainly a long-term stock here. Also didn't measure out athletically as well as advertised. So this is a long-term stock, but one that has an upside at the end of the road, but patience is going to be a requisite here.
Yeah, coincidentally, earlier in the week, I was asked to identify a player who was outside of the top 60 of the CBS Sports consensus big board, who I thought could make the NBA and stick. And I went with Peyton Watson because, he didn't play much at UCLA.
Wasn't ready to play.
But some of that, I think, not all of it, some of it was on him, clearly. But he went to a team that returned basically every meaningful piece from a Final Four team. And it can be difficult to crack that rotation. And it proved to be difficult for him. But if you're a believer in what you saw in everything before he was at UCLA, and I'm not sure that I am. You sound like you're not.
I didn't see it. It was he came up during the pandemic. Right. It was a highlight video that everybody got excited about.
But if you believe in that, then you're getting a guy who was a five-star prospect, top 10, 15 player in his class at the bottom of the first round. There can be some real value. This is not one we'll know for sure whether it was good or bad, smart or dumb for like 3 or 4 years. But, it's another franchise at the bottom of the first round taking a big swing. That's what this
Gary,
is.
if it's not Watson, what are one or two guys that you love in this spot?
I would have taken Kennedy Chandler. Okay. There's some thought that his size was going to be a problem. I'm not a subscriber to that, but I think it's pretty clear that NBA franchises are. If I'm correct on this, Ty Washington is the only player that went in the first round who is shorter than 6'4", and he didn't go until the very end of the first round. And that just shows you the emphasis that it's sort of wild how the sport is being squeezed at both ends. If you're too tall and not mobile enough, we don't value you, and if you're too small, we don't value you. Like these days, it's like you need to be athletic, at least 6'4", 6'5", or else you're not a highly valued draft pick.
All right, so the first round has come to a conclusion. You look back at all the 30 picks that were made. Okay, there's been a lot of picks made here. And you can take a little bit of time to think about this in your mind, but maybe who's a guy or two or a pick here that was made in the first round that you really liked, Gary?
Well, I love Chet Holmgren, going second to Oklahoma City. That's the guy who I thought should go first in this draft. And, if you're Oklahoma City, you were able to just sit there and grab the guy that you probably wanted all along, whether you were picking first or second. So to me, that's the one that could pay off at the highest end. But, the order was a little wilder than I expected. Mm-hmm. But of the 30 guys that went in the first round, 25 of them are guys that I had projected going in the first round. The names that came off are roughly more or less the names I thought would come off. Everybody I had in the top 21 came off the board in the top 30. They just came off in a slightly, and sometimes a little more than slightly different order than I would have predicted.
Are you surprised like a guy like E.J. Liddell didn't go first round, or a guy like Kennedy Chandler didn't go in the first round? Jaden Hardy.
Yeah, the main ones that I'm surprised, there's 3 that I'm surprised didn't go in the first round, and we just named them. It's Kennedy Chandler, E.J. Liddell, and Jaden Hardy. Jaden didn't have a great year in the G League, but he's such a natural shot creator scorer that I think that stuff's going to translate to the NBA. All these guys are going to come off the board in the next 28 picks, I believe. But I am surprised that those 3 specifically are still available.
So I love Jaden Ivey going to Detroit Pistons. That's I think that was the right fit and best available at the time. And I also love Ochai Agbaji going to Cleveland. I think that was the right pick based on how they're trying to recreate that entire roster. They took a significant step forward this year. So those two stand out for me.
I love what the Knicks have done. They haven't made a pick yet because they shed a bad contract. They added future assets. They made themselves a player in free agency. I'm sure the fans are booing because that's what they do in New York, but I think that New York has had a very strategic and well-executed draft.
You want some more airtime, don't you? You're siding with the host on Ochai Agbaji. I'm going to run out and get my Ochai Agbaji jersey here after the broadcast here. Much more ahead when we continue. The first round is in the books. Second round underway. We'll continue our coverage throughout the night here on CBS Sports HQ. Keep it locked.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.